Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to BD Views. I am Mursaleen Siddiqui. Bangladesh is heading toward a historic election. The 13th National Parliamentary election is just around the corner. But this time, something is very different. For the first time, we are seeing a massive push for postal ballots. The numbers are in. More than 1.5 million people have registered to vote via the Postal Vote BD app. Specifically, 15,27,155 voters are ready to cast their ballots from afar. On the surface, this might not seem like a lot. It is only about 1% of the total 127 million voters in the country. But don't let that small percentage fool you. In a tight race, 1% can change everything. So who are these voters? This year, the list is more inclusive than ever. We have government officials working outside their home districts. We have election staff who will be busy on the ground. We have members of the Ansar VDP and even prisoners. But the biggest change? The inclusion of expatriates. For years, Bangladeshis living abroad have wanted a say in their country's future. Now they have it. Over 760,000 expats have registered to vote by mail. That is nearly half of all postal registrations. This is a massive milestone for our democracy. It brings the voices of the diaspora directly into the heart of our political process. The Election Commission has modernized the system. They introduced a dedicated app to handle registrations. They even changed the law to make this possible. This isn't just a minor update, it is a digital transformation of the way we vote. However, the real question remains, how much weight will these votes actually carry? Will they just be a footnote, or will they be the deciding factor? To understand the impact, we have to look at the seats. National elections in Bangladesh are won seat by seat. Usually, the margins are clear, but history tells a different story. In the 2008 elections, 30 seats were decided by fewer than 10,000 votes. In those cases, a few thousand votes could have flipped the entire result. This is where the postal ballots become critical. In 18 different constituencies, more than 10,000 voters have registered for postal ballots. Most of these seats are in the Chittagong division. Let's look at Feni 3. This seat has the highest number of postal registrations in the country. More than 16,000 people are set to vote by mail there. If a race in Feni 3 is neck and neck, these 16,000 votes are no longer just 1%. They are the kingmakers. Other areas like Chittagong 15, Kumilla 10, and Noakhali 1 also have very high numbers. Each has over 12,000 registered postal voters. Experts are watching these numbers closely. Jasmine Tuli, a former official at the Election Commission, pointed out a key fact. If 70% or 80% of these postal votes go to one candidate, the local result is almost guaranteed. Even in 97 other seats, there are between 5,000 and 10,000 postal voters. In these areas, the traditional ground game of politics might not be enough. Candidates now have to think about the voters they can see. They have to worry about the police officer in another city or the worker in the Middle East. These hidden voters are now a localized force. They have the power to turn a losing campaign into a winning one. This adds a whole new layer of strategy to the election. This election isn't just about picking members of parliament. It is also about the July National Charter. On the same day as the general election, there will be a national referendum. This is a huge deal for the future of our Constitution. If the yes vote wins, the very structure of our government will change. Bangladesh would move toward a bicameral parliament. That means we would have a lower house and an upper house. This is where the postal ballots gain even more power. The referendum isn't decided seat by seat. It is decided by the total number of votes across the entire country. Every single postal ballot, whether it comes from a jail cell in Dhaka or an apartment in London, counts toward the national total. Furthermore, the proposed July Charter suggests a new way to fill the upper house. Seats would be given to the parties based on the total percentage of votes they get in the lower house elections. This is called proportional representation. Think about what that means. In the past, if a party lost a seat, their votes in the area didn't help them much in the final count. But now, every single vote helps a party gain more power in the upper house. Those 1.5 million postal votes are now part of a much larger calculation. They could be the difference between a party getting 5 extra seats or 10. Because of this, the 1% becomes statistically significant. It's no longer just about who wins in a specific village, it's about the total national voice. The postal ballot system is effectively giving a boost to the total vote count, making the outcome of the referendum and the formation of the upper house more representative. Despite the excitement, the path isn't entirely smooth. Using postal ballots on this scale is a massive logistical challenge. There is a lot that can go wrong. Globally, about 24% of postal ballots are wasted. This means they either don't arrive on time or they are filled out incorrectly. The deadline is strict. If a ballot doesn't reach the returning officer by 4:30 p.m. on election day, it is discarded. For someone sending a vote from overseas, that is a very tight window. There are also concerns about privacy. Once a voter has their ballot, it is their job to keep it secret. But in a digital age, how do we ensure no one is being pressured? Some experts like Bodiul Alam Mojumdar are raising red flags. He calls the current process a black box. There are concerns about transparency. Because ballots were sent out before the final list of candidates was even confirmed, some people might have voted for candidates who are no longer running. This creates a risk of confusion and legal challenges. There is also the risk of manipulation. If a seat is decided by a few hundred postal votes, the losing side might claim the system was rigged. This could hurt the credibility of the entire election. The Election Commission has a tough job ahead. They have promised to block the national ID cards of anyone who violates voting secrecy. But will that be enough to stop foul play? In the end, the postal ballot system is a bold experiment. It is a test of our technology and our trust. It brings 1.5 million people into the fold who might have been left out. Whether they act as a silent majority or a deciding factor, one thing is clear. The 1% will be the most talked about group on election night. That's all for today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching BD Views. If you find our reports insightful, please subscribe to our channel. Allah Hafiz.